All right, hello everyone. Thank you so much for coming out to the UVSS SAGM. Welcome to the 2024 UVSS Semi-Annual General Meeting. We are going to get started, and I'm just going to start screen sharing really quickly. All right, there we are. Cool. So, okay, here we are. So the winner of the early bird prize has already been announced in the chat. I believe the name of the person was Matthew Cahill. We are going to be reaching out to you via email to set up an arrangement so that you can pick up the prize. But congrats, Matthew. Thanks for showing up early. We really appreciate it. All right, and if you are looking to access the full SAGM agenda to follow along with us, which I highly recommend that you do, please head to uvss.ca/SAGM. And if you scroll to the bottom of the page, there's going to be like a button on the bottom, and that's where you can find it. All right. We are just going to really quickly use this time to plug our wonderful advocacy groups and affiliated groups here at the UVSS. So if you didn't know, the UVSS oversees a bunch of wonderful groups that do advocacy work for marginalized people and people who care about gender-based violence prevention, sustainability, and feeding our communities in a sustainable manner. And let's just do a quick overview. So the sub is home to the Native Student Union and 4 constituency groups. We have, as I mentioned, the Native Student Union, which is a place for Indigenous students. We have the Pride Collective, which is a space for LGBT students. We have the Students of Color Collective, which is for people of color, BIPOC folk, Society for Students with a Disability, so anyone who identifies as disabled, and then the Gender Empowerment Center for women and gender minoritized people. And also, we have the UVic Sustainability Project that shares an office with the UVic Campus Community Garden. And we also have the Anti-Violence Project, or AVP for short. They are all located in the basement of the sub, whereas the advocacy groups are mixed on the first floor and the basement. And I just want to say hi and thank you to the folks in Vertigo right now in the sub who are attending our watch party. If you are currently in the sub but are not at the watch party, feel free to go down there and grab a snack because we got catering. So yeah, there's coffee, tea, cookies, fruit, I believe is what I ordered. And a big shout out and thank you to the UVSS directors at large who are currently in the room facilitating this exciting hybrid experience. All right, I am going to call this meeting to order. It is 3:21 p.m. It's Wednesday, February 28th. Tomorrow we got a leap year moment. And I'm calling this meeting to order. So first up, I am going to play a video that we collaborate with UVic on. And this is the acknowledgement of the territories by Dr. Skip Dick, and it's a welcome to the Lekwungen territory, which is where the University of Victoria resides. If you are not on UVic campus right now, please do your own research and find out which Indigenous territories you are on.
Good day, my friends. We're just sharing our ways with you to make sure that you feel welcome in our territory. We're called the Coast Salish people, we're the Lekwungen people. On our west coast, we have the Nuu-chah-nulth folks, and on the north part, we have the Kwakwaka'wakw people. All I'm really doing is sharing this with you so that you have that grounding base from your own home, that we're not telling you to change your values or anything. We're just sharing this with you, the way we work with it. And I want to make sure that you really feel welcome in our territory. And I say, welcome to our Lekwungen territory.
All right. Dr. Skip Dick obviously is not here right now, but I had the absolute pleasure of meeting him in September when we both presented at the new student welcome. He is a lovely man with a lot of wisdom to share. I think it's all important that we give him a listen while he's speaking. Right. And this is a great resource that, once again, we plug every single time. When I mentioned earlier, if you're not sort of currently on UVic campus, to look up what Indigenous territories you are on, this is a great resource, nativeland.ca. And as you can see, you can look at a map and figure it out from there. Some other important links that we want to share with you are the 94 calls to action. And we also want to, once again, give a shout out to the Native Student Union in the basement of the sub and all the incredible work that they do for this campus community. All right. And this is where I'm going to be passing off the torch. We're going to be doing the approval of the chair, which is choosing the meeting leader. If you have a question or would like to speak in favor or against a motion, please use the raised hand feature, which you can find typically on the bottom of your screen. We have a little picture here. I'm sure you know how to work Zoom. Yeah. So this is an overview of the agenda. Once again, please follow along with us by going to the website. And one moment here. It's always really frustrating because you can't go back. Okay, here. There we go. So Carrie Michaels is going to be our chair for today. Carrie, we are very grateful for you. Normally, our chair, who normally does the UVSS general meetings, is booked and busy right now. James Cola, we love him dearly, but we are very grateful and faithful that Carrie will do a wonderful job. Yeah. Carrie, would you like to say anything about yourself?
Yes, thank you. So, hi everyone, my name is Carrie Michaels. My pronouns are she and her, and I'm joining you today from the unceded and stolen lands of the Musqueam, the Squamish, and the Tsleil-Waututh peoples, whose lands are never surrendered under any form of law. Just confirming that we still need a motion to approve me as the chair, and then we can proceed.
Yeah, the comms people are on it. We're just
Okay.
do it.
And just while we're maybe waiting on that, I can just give a bit of background for folks. So I'm currently an executive vice president for the BC General Employees Union. I come from the Kwantlen Student Association, where I was secretary to the board of directors. And so meetings have been my world for an astonishing number of years. And I just want to say thank you to all of you who are here today at the highest decision-making body of your student society. So thank you for taking the time on a Wednesday afternoon to be in a fun meeting and winning lots of prizes.
You need a mover and a seconder. All right. And they should put their hand up. All right, so I'm just gonna pop this motion for the approval of the chair into the chat, and I'm going to need a mover and a seconder. So if you could raise your hand right now before we start the poll. Folks, could I get a mover and a seconder? Okay, thank you, Cleo, for moving. Can I get a seconder, folks? Prim Goodacre, thank you for being our seconder. And then now we can move to a vote. Sky, is that a question or were you just hoping to second? Okay, I'm assuming you were just hoping to second. Can folks see the results that I'm sharing? The motion carried, just to be clear. So Carrie, you are now the chair of our meeting.
Excellent, thank you. And thank you, everyone. I will do my best to fulfill the role. We, for those who may not be familiar, when we have a chair of the meeting, particularly a large meeting like this, my job is to just help facilitate the flow of the business we're here to conduct, make sure that we can get through the items that we're here to discuss. And to make sure that everybody has a fair opportunity to participate. So I believe in the AGM's or the SAGM's website, there was a link to the rules of order that we use. We use democratic rules of order here, which are similar to, but slightly different from Robert's Rules of Order. And we definitely encourage folks to look at that. But if you do want to ask a question or speak with regards to a decision, a motion, or during the Q&A part, I would ask that you send me an X in the chat to be added to the speakers list. And I'm just going to put it in the chat for you, so you can just click my name, and that usually is a lot easier in terms of not having to scroll through to find me in the participant list, but I believe it's alphabetical. You'll find me under K. All right, enough preamble. Let's get to the business of the day. So the next slide has the overview of the agenda. So this has been posted well in advance with notice for this meeting, and I'll get whoever's controlling the slides maybe to hit the next slide. Perfect, thank you. And so we have called to order, we've acknowledged the territories, we've approved the chair. We are going to adopt the agenda for this meeting, and we are also going to adopt the minutes of the previous annual general meeting. That has been posted on the website. If you want to go take a look, you can take a look at the full agenda, which includes the motions that are for consideration if we reach quorum. And then we also have posted the minutes from the previous meeting that we will be approving as well. So I encourage folks to take this time to go review the full agenda at uvss.ca/SAGM. And then if we have quorum, we will proceed with the motions for consideration. If we do not yet have quorum, we will go to the Board of Directors reports, and then we will have question period for 30 minutes and announcements. And then we go on with our days. So I'm going to, and sprinkled in there are some fun prizes that they will be announcing. So I'm going to give you some time to go look at the agenda if you haven't had a chance, and that will give time for a prize draw, I believe. So the next slide will have that.
All right, I'm going to announce the winner of the Flex Funds in 2 seconds as soon as the name is pulled. All right, congratulations. To Isabel Easton. You have won the $100 in Flex Funds prize. Once again, we will be contacting you by email to set up that. It's not a physical transfer, but we have to set you up with the actual money transfer. So we'll get that to you.
Wonderful. Congratulations, Isabel. So we will now move to adopt the agenda, and I will ask if someone can use the raise hand function to move the agenda. Perfect. Kushi Wadwa. And then a seconder, I see Sky Riedscheld. I accept that as a seconding. So that has been moved and seconded to adopt the agenda as presented. Are there any questions about the adoption of the agenda? Please send me an X in the chat if you would like to ask a question. Okay, I am seeing none, so we will proceed to a vote on adopting the agenda for the meeting today. Do we have that vote ready? I believe they will do a poll similar to the one we did to accept me. Perfect.
All right, that motion has carried. I hope you can see the results.
Yes, so the results are in favor. 68 in favor, 2 opposed, 8 abstained. So we will proceed with the agenda as presented. Thank you, everyone. The next item is the adoption of the minutes. As noted, those were posted online for folks to review. I will now ask for someone to use the raise hand function to move and a seconder to also use the raise hand function. Excellent. I've got Tristan and Prim Goodacre as the mover and the seconder. Are there any discussion or corrections for the minutes? And I'll give folks a second if you need to send me an X in the chat. Okay, I'm not seeing any discussion on the minutes, so I will now proceed to the vote, and a poll should come up. There it is. Thank you. Okay, so it looks like the vote was in favor. 67 were in favor, 2 opposed, and 10 abstained. So that carries. The minutes of the AGM in October are approved. October 26th. Perfect. So we will go ahead to the next slide, which I believe is to determine if we have quorum. And we will take a moment just for folks who maybe haven't attended a meeting like this to explain what quorum is. So because every meeting has generally a quorum set, but the general meetings are the highest decision-making body for the student society. And quorum is set to ensure that a certain number of students or members are able to participate in the decisions that are made at such a meeting. So when we are looking to see if we have quorum, that's making sure that we have the minimum number of members present in order to proceed with decisions that can be made for the society. And in this case, there's 4 motions to do with issues policies that are being presented. The quorum is determined based on either the Societies Act or the Society's bylaws. And in this case, the UVSS bylaws designate quorum as 0.6% of the membership. So given the number crunching of the number of undergrad members at University of Victoria, the number needed for this meeting to reach quorum is 107 students present. And so once we have, if and when we reach that number, we'll be able to proceed with the special motions, which also have a special requirement to be considered at a general meeting, including a 2/3 vote of the board of directors or a petition. And so I am just waiting to see if we have quorum or if we would like to pause or proceed with reports. I am in your hands. Or if there's any questions, if I did not further clarify quorum, you can put an X in the chat and ask me more about that. Talk all day about quorum. So it looks like we have not yet reached quorum, although we are close, I will note. So if you have friends who...
We're at quorum. We just made it.
Woo, we reached quorum. Also, okay, 1, no one can leave now. And 2, if you have friends who can jump on the Zoom, want to come to a meeting, maybe win a prize, maybe just send the link, ask them to come by the room in the sub to join the watch party. So yes, please keep inviting folks. And if they're like, is it too late? Be like, it's never too late to win a cool prize. Let's go into the motions. So the first motion is around issues policies, and I'll just read it out for folks and then ask for a mover and a seconder. So it says, whereas issues policies provide a useful way to articulate advocacy priorities to the student body, and whereas issues policies allow for long-term advocacy goals to be maintained organizationally, and whereas policy consistency allows for better comprehension and clarity, be it resolved to update the issues policies as laid out in the document titled Issues Policy Amendment Package 1 Clarity and Formatting. This was posted online, so I will go ahead and ask for someone to use the reaction button to move and second. Perfect. So And Julie, Strong, and Kiera have moved and seconded.
Sorry, I just wanted to, point of order, note, we already have a mover for these upcoming motions. It was just for the other non-special resolution motions that we needed the mover for. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, okay. So we just need a seconder. Okay. Sorry about that. I will just take the first name I read out as the seconder, and thank you everyone for jumping in there. So this has been moved and seconded, and I am going to ask if you would like to discuss this, to please put an X, to send an X to me in the chat, and I will call on you in order that I receive them. And we do have the mover's privilege. So I am going to go to Cleo to speak first on this.
Yeah, thank you, Carrie. So this is one of 4 amendments on the issues policy. This one doesn't really get into content at all, but is made to, like the motion says, make sure that this is like a more clear document, that it's goals oriented and more comprehensible both to students who are looking to see what the advocacy goals of the UVSS are, but also for people in student leadership to be able to easily get into what our advocacy goals are and what our approaches are and what our values are. So yeah, it's pretty much just a comprehension thing.
Perfect. Thank you. Any other questions or discussions on this? Cleo, if you would like to make any final remarks, you're good. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and proceed to a vote. And I believe we have that poll queued up. And it is open. Please cast your votes. Okay, so I see that this has passed with 66 in favor, 5 opposed, and 9 abstained. So that is carried. And I have a question about a quorum check. So I just want to check that quorum is present.
Yeah, so it looks like from what I'm getting from my comms people is that we're at quorum.
Okay.
Yeah,
That was my understanding as well, but I just wanted to confirm that we had still met quorum. Thank you. So we do still have quorum, thank you, and it is definitely appropriate to request a quorum check at any point. So the next motion is issues. Okay, here we go. So issues policy, wait, this is, yes. So issues policy provides a useful way to articulate advocacy priorities to the student body, and issues policies allows for long-term advocacy goals to be maintained organizationally, and harm reduction is an important issue for the UVSS to hold given the nature of student substance use and toxic drug supply in BC, be it result that to update the issues policies as laid out in the document entitled Issues Policy Amendment Package 2, Harm Reduction, and that is moved by Cleo. Is there a seconder? Please indicate with your raise hand function. Seconded, Bunny, thank you. Sorry, Bunny Williams. I'm trying to, for the minute taker, try to use folks' first and last name, if I have it. So that is moved and seconded. I will go to the mover for first comment and ask for folks to place an X to me in the chat if you would like to be on the speakers list.
Yeah, thank you again. You're going to hear a lot of me today, everyone. So this is a package meant to prioritize the safety of students on and off campus. Some of the priorities of this package include on-campus drug testing, and this is just to frame issues policy. This is like our advocacy goals once more. So our advocacy goals are to get on-campus drug testing, safe supply, both provincially and federally, decriminalization, and then a bunch of education for students on post-secondary campuses. And I think this is an important package because it disproportionately impacts students on multiple axes of identity. Yeah, thank you.
Perfect. And I'm not seeing other folks. All right. And I just want to confirm for the folks who are here, quorum, including the non-student members of this meeting, is 113 to achieve 107, which is the threshold that we are looking for. So thank you. So I am not seeing any other discussion on this motion. Ask folks to remain on mute, no worries. I will proceed to the vote if we have that ready. So the voting should be open. I'll ask folks to cast your vote. And we are almost. So almost there. And so the vote is carried with 64 in favor, 8 opposed, and 9 abstained. Thank you, everyone, for voting. We will move on to a new prize. Or, yeah, we'll move on to a prize. I will pass it over. Or do we want to do the next motion?
No, I'm so sorry. It's just every time I accidentally click the screen, it goes immediately to the next page, but I do want to pull the bagu, and we do have a winner here. Surah Anna Enkin Lewis, congratulations. You are the winner of the Black Bagu bag. Once again, we'll be reaching out to you to organize a pickup time. And I'm going to move on to the next motion.
Amazing. Great. So congratulations. The next motion is, whereas issues policy provide a useful way to articulate advocacy priorities to the student body, and issues policy allow for long-term advocacy goals to be maintained organizationally. And whereas sexualized and gender-based violence advocacy has been a long-term priority of the UVSS, be it resolved that the issues policies are updated as laid out in the document titled Issue Policy Amendment Package 3, Sexualized and Gender-Based Violence. It is moved by Cleo. Is there a seconder? Please use the raise hand function. And that is seconded by Kushi Wadwa. Thank you. And I'm going to open it for discussion, starting with Cleo. Bill, go ahead.
Thank you again, Carrie. Yeah, so like this says, sexualized and gender-based violence has been a long-term goal, like priority of the UVSS. So kind of what I'm just doing with this one, or what we're doing with this one, is bringing up to date some of the goals that we've had. So that's making sure that provincial legislation is up to date with what kind of the sector needs, and that's increased oversight and increased education for students. But it's also funding, and you'll see that in the policy.
Perfect. And I don't have anyone who has put an indicator in the chat that they would like to speak to this. I will give them one moment to do that. Also, thank you, Deb, for sharing the link to the drive, which these links were in the agenda, but that might be helpful for some folks. And I'm going to just ask if we can proceed to the vote. I believe we have the poll set up. And we are voting. So the results of the vote are the motion has passed. We had 64 in favor, 5 opposed, and 10 abstained. So that is carried. Thank you, everyone, for your votes. And we will proceed to the, I believe, final motion. So this one is whereas issues policy provides a useful way to articulate advocacy priorities to the student body, and whereas issue policy allow for long-term advocacy goals to be maintained organizationally, whereas good urban development can decrease overall costs and increase accessibility for students, be it resolved to update the issues policies as laid out in the document titled Issues Policy Amendment Package for Urban Development. That is moved by Cleo Philp. And can I get a seconder on Mackenzie McNiven? Thank you for seconding. And I will turn it to Cleo for movers privilege, opening remarks. And sorry, while Cleo is giving opening remarks, if you'd like to speak to this, please go ahead and put an X in the chat for me. Thanks. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And this is almost me done yapping. So urban development is going to be 2 separate parts, which is housing and transit development. As we know, Victoria is an incredibly expensive place to live. Big reasons housing. So we're looking for more social and cooperative housing. We're looking to see residents expanded over the next few years. We're looking to see vacancy controls implemented both locally and also provincially. And we're also looking to see some zoning laws be developed in a healthy, sustainable way. And all of that will contribute to bringing down average costs. And then separately, We're looking at transit and trying to advocate for fare-free transit. As much as UPass is a wonderful service, it would be better if we just didn't have to spend money on buses. A long-term goal, which I think will make some of you happy, is light rail back in the region. And then we're also trying to make sure that the mode shift from automobiles to light transit options, such as like micromobility and active transportation, all that mode shift is like facilitated in a comprehensive way, which serves students. Yeah.
Okay, are there any other speakers on this motion on urban development and housing? I see Lane has a hand up. Go ahead, Lane.
Can we do a bathroom break?
I'm hearing a call for a recess, so I will pause this and would 5 minutes?
How about we do 7?
7 minutes. Okay. We're going to take a brief recess for 7 minutes, and that will be at 4:08. Folks will come back. 4:08. Bringing us back from our recess, and I know we do have folks in the waiting room. So I'm going to give the time for those folks to be verified and admitted into the meeting. I'm also going to check and see if there are any other discussion on the motion that we have considered. Please put an X in the chat for me if you would like to be on the speakers list. And I will also, seeing no further speakers, turn it to Cleo for any closing final remarks. Okay, quorum is met, so we will proceed with the vote. And I will just ask folks to set that up now. Perfect. So the motion has passed in 62 in favor, 3 not in favor, and 11 abstained. And we still have quorum, and we began voting with quorum, so I believe that carries. And we have dispensed with all of the special motions, and we can proceed to reports. Thank you, everyone.
All right, hello. Thank you, Carrie, and thank you everyone for showing up to vote. Sorry, I have a very inconvenient bladder, but I'd like to say it is because I'm very hydrated. So I'm going to be going first for the announcements and reports tonight. And I'm actually going to be using my time for something pretty fun. So cat's out of the bag. I'm the proponent for a UVSS referenda question. And you can also see it on the screen. But I just picked up the physical copies from the electoral office as well. Yeah, so as of this morning, we have entered campaign period for UVSS elections and referenda cycle. I want to be very clear, the voting period is March 18th to the 20th. And I'm going to talk a little bit about this question that I am running for. And also I want to note, I am one of four people who are running the question. The other groups are the Gender Empowerment Center. Eric is running that question. Anna is running the question for the Students of Color Collective. And Madison is running the question for the UVic Sustainability Project. So we're a nice little squad. Yeah, so this is what we're asking you for. We are asking for an increase to student fees to go towards UVSS operations, and that'll increase to $5 a semester per student, full-time student, and $250 per part-time student, with an additional $1 increase every year, or 50-cent increase every year until we hit 10 for full-time students and $5 for part-time students in the fall semester of 2029. I know that's a mouthful, but we have to differentiate full-time and part-time. And the reason for this is because the UVSS has grown, and we haven't had an operational budget increase in 11 years. And we are, I believe right now, the second lowest school in the province for student fees, despite our large size and the amount of services we provide. And if we do this increase, we're only gonna be bumped up to the third least expensive student union in the province. And for me, I fundamentally believe that this is about investing in our futures. This will directly benefit you now, absolutely, because of the power of collective buying, but it's also going to benefit the well-being of students many, many years down the line, which is it's a burden we all carry. We have to care for ourselves, but also for folks coming down the pipe. Also, we employ 300 people approximately here at the sub, and those people deserve to make fair, competitive wages. And I don't know if you know this, if you're a University of Victoria undergraduate student, you are kind of their employer to a certain degree. That's what your student fees pay for. So you want to be a good employer. And you want to make sure that the people here are happy, healthy, and safe. And that means being able to afford to take care of their families in the expensive city that we live in. Yeah, pay people what they're worth. And that's all I really have to say on the subject right now. You're going to see me, myself, and I, as well as the other referenda proponents all across this campus, basically from now on for the next 3 weeks. And if you have any questions, feel free to send me an email. It's just outreach@uvss.ca. And you can also find probably some answers to your questions at uvss.ca/referenda. We just got that site up and running this morning, so it's very exciting. And I'm going to hand it off to the next lead director, Koshi.
Thank you, Lane. Hi, everybody. So this year has been great. I'm gonna start it off with what I did for the UVSS businesses and personnel work. Personnel work has been a little bit, and sorry, personnel included multiple hiring committees, including being chair for 3 excluded manager positions. We also bargained with one of our labor unions, IATSE, and we have also prepared to bargain with another labor union soon. In terms of finances, of course, regular financial reporting and budgeting, also making sure the budgets were in pink paper because, I mean, why not? They're cute. And also, I presented, if you were here for the AGM, I presented our budget and the audit for the year, which was really nice. And I also led and compiled the UVSS work plan 2023 to 24, which is basically a guide for the board to let the public know, let their members know about their priorities, what they want to work on, what are their goals, and how they would like to achieve those goals. I also overlooked UVSS businesses and some capital requests throughout the year. Next slide, please. Thank you. And I also helped make the transition to UMO a little bit nicer. I know it was kind of stressful for a lot of people, not really the best move to start school off with. And also the VSS Extended Health and Dental Plan. If you have been to the AGM, you know that we have 2 new additions to the plan, gender affirmation care and unlimited mental health support through the app dialogue, which has been wonderful. And yep, I also ensured that student inquiries were prioritized and answered. I know there were a lot of questions about claims, about the plan overall, and also helped them understand how they can use their coverage better. Sorry. We also supported students in the IMP program, which is the Island Medical program that involves nursing students, which is quite honestly a little bit stressful for them to handle and go through insurance coverage. I also spoke at International Student Welcome to increase awareness about the plan. I think it's really important everybody knows how to use a plan. Please go use your plan. You're paying for it. You should use it. I also reintroduced the mug bank and also supported students through various UVic Senate committees. Some of them being Senate Committee on Admission, Registration, and Transfer Appeals, Fee Reduction Appeals Committee, Senate Committee on Planning, and Social Sciences Undergraduate Curriculum Committee. If you have any more questions about any of the things that I've said, feel free to shoot me an email on finance@uvss.ca. Thank you.
Hello, folks. Yeah, the last few months, I've been working on some provincial advocacy. If you came to the AGM, you would have received my report on lobby days, during which I went to legislature with a couple other schools and talked to them a lot about gender-based violence, sexualized violence prevention. And it's been nice to see that they're developing a sexualized violence action plan. So myself and the campaigns committee have been working on a letter to inform the Ministry of Post-Secondary about what kinds of things we'd like to see in that. As far as affordability goes, I've also been liking to stay on this provincial solidarity movement where we're working with other student unions across the province to address what provincial funding should look like for post-secondary. As we know, cuts have happened, and with the international student enrollment cap, we're just trying to make sure that service and education stays good quality, and that tuition doesn't rise very much. Unfortunately, I think it's going to because of the lack of support from the province, but we're doing our best to make sure that class sizes stay down and that service stays good. Next slide, please. Otherwise, on the less flashy scale, We've been working with Good Night Out Again to bring harm reduction to Sexpo, along with Trans ID Clinic, which was a free service provided to a couple dozen trans people who all got to change their IDs around, which is really nice. We started some naloxone trainings. I think there's a couple of those coming up. You can find that out on the harm reduction or safer use website on the UVSS website. Worked with the Equity and Human Rights Department on improving some of their policies. Recently successfully got one of the main bike lanes into UVic cleared of parked cars. And thank you folks for passing the issues policies that I was working on over the winter break. That was much appreciated. And then for something that's kind of looking into the future, we're bringing back Route 76, which is a direct bus route from UVic to the ferry terminal in Shorts Bay. There's a petition for that, which is going to be on our Instagram, but it'll also be on the website. And we're working with the transit union, the bus drivers transit union, and we are working with, I think, Camosun on that one as well. So that'd be a good thing to go sign on to. That's me.
All right, it's my time to shine. Just a quick intro to my portfolio. I am in charge of the clubs, course unions, and advocacy groups representatives, as well as the faculty student societies on campus. And I organize and kind of facilitate and support over 175 groups on campus. So next slide, please. A lot of my work this year has just been really kind of cleaning up my job portfolio and description, just making it a lot easier for whoever comes into my role next to do the work, because it's a lot for one person. So there's all like structural changes I was trying to make. And also community building was a really big thing for me. So I created a Clubs and Course Union monthly newsletter to use our platform to uplift our student groups on campus. I created a Clubs and Course Union room in the sub that will be opening up hopefully by the beginning of summer. And this is going to be used by my clubs and course unions to share information, network, and prioritize like events and meetings in that room. Because a lot of my clubs have mentioned that they had a lot of trouble with room bookings and stuff. And I ran a really successful fall CCU days that had better engagement than previous years. It was awesome to see everybody come out. And in progress, in terms of community building, I am trying to create a shared Google Calendar amongst all my clubs and course unions. And I would love to run a year-end party for all my clubs and course union execs to celebrate all of the hard work they've done for the semester and for our campus. And the next one. Organization. I digitized the check requisition process. If anyone in this, I saw a couple of my club members in this meeting. You guys know how hard check requisitions can be, so I tried to make it a lot easier for everybody. I created a financial training plan for my clubs and course union execs to help with financial literacy. I created online locker forms, and I also created a club and course union manual for executives to try and streamline information between execs. And in progress around organization, I'm creating policy around funding schedule and official CCU emails, as well as digitizing insurance requests for CCUs. Lane, I see an X in the chat.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure I give credit where credit is due. It wasn't just the fall CCU days, it was also the spring CCU days that you did very well with record success despite the snow days.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, and if anyone has any questions about my portfolio, please reach out to me. I have office hours Tuesdays and Thursdays from 12 to 1 in the board offices / sub, as well as you can email me affairs@uvss.ca. Thanks.
Yo, hey everybody. All right. So my name is Sarah. I'm the director of events at this here student union. Yeah. So I guess let's get right into it. I spend my time kind of between two different sorts of events. The first sort is like the exciting sort. It's the parties, it's like the big like festivals, stuff like that. The most recent one was Sexpo, which I'm very, very proud of the work that I put into that and the outcome of that. Um, it wasn't just me, obviously. I have to give huge props to the whole Sexpo team, especially Bo of the Gender Empowerment Center. They were incredible. But for Sexpo, I helped facilitate the art gallery. I coordinated and ran the market, coordinated some of the workshops, did back end and logistical support for all areas, the workshops, Groove Fest, and Flux. And it was one hell of a week. Um, Lots of stuff to be done to run an event of that scale. But if any of you were at Groove Fest, you know that like it's well worth the work. Um, in the same vein, some things that like weren't quite as big and flashy because it was more or less just me organizing them were Slush Fest, which I brought out 6 bands over 2 days and had them put on a couple of performances. I, at the start of the year, I was really interested in using Vertigo as a space because it used to be a nightclub until we lost our liquor license in like 2007 or so. And I just feel like it's such a cool space, and I got excited by that idea. So that was Slush Fest. I also ran a costume contest over Halloween. I'm leaving out all of campus kickoff because I talked about that at the first AGM this year. But yeah, I've put on a couple of like big flashy parties this year, and those are a lot of fun. One of the most rewarding parts of the portfolio, I'd say one of the most exciting. But there's another kind of events, if we can move on to the next slide. And these are very, very important. The hot lunches and puppy playtimes, as well as some other stuff that like is also a service and a bit more consistent, less flashy party style and a bit more like necessary for students or just a good thing to have. Other examples that I didn't include on this slide would be the secondhand swap. We've got one of those coming up in April on the 10th and the 11th. So bring in your clothes, come check that out. But these events, especially the hot lunches and the puppy playtimes, are run once every month. And I think they provide a really consistent way for students to like engage with the UVSS. Obviously, there is an affordability crisis going on. Corporations are raking in record profits while the price of food skyrockets and wages stagnate. And like, I'm the director of events at a student union. I can't fight massive systems like that, but at the very least, I can like serve hot food every once in a while, do my best to like take the edge off a little bit. And so, yeah, actually, just to toot my own horn a little bit, the hot lunches, we used to do them maybe once or twice a semester. But since I came into office, we've done one of them every single month for every month that school's been in session, so September through now. Um, and we also do a pancake breakfast at the start of each semester. So that has been about, let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 food events, free food events that I've run. And I estimate that in total, they've come together to serve about 5,500 free meals to students, which I'm very proud of. 3,500 from the hot lunch program that I started. Puppy playtimes, on the other hand, like, I don't know, I just like dogs. And I think other students do. So I'm really happy to bring them out. Um, but yeah, those are the kinds of things that I've been up to as events. Obviously, that's not everything. I get involved with like other sides to this work too. There's some directorship to director of events. Crazy. But yeah, those are the events that have been going on. If you haven't come out yet, like I'd love to see you guys there. It's always a treat. All right, that's all from me. Thank you.
Love that photo of me, Sarah. The two wolves, the doodle, and my shirt. So we have pulled a winner for the Bose headphones. Congratulations, Ava Gardner. You have won the headphones. Once again, we're going to be emailing you to set up a pickup time. Nice. I hope you feel lucky. That's a cool prize. All right.
Perfect. So we are now moving to the Q&A portion of the agenda. So if folks have any questions for the board, you're welcome to put an X in the chat and I will follow the speakers list. And thank you for all of the presentations. And just to confirm for folks who are here, and maybe this is your first SAGM, because this is a regular part of the annual general meeting, we will wait 30 minutes for questions. All right.
Excuse me, I think I put an X in the chat, but I'm not sure if it was received.
Oh, I did not. You might have sent it to someone directly, but I will thank you for intervening and I will go ahead and turn it over to you for your question. Thank you.
Okay. Hi everyone. I'm Safi, for those who I haven't seen in a while. Yeah, I was at work, so I wasn't able to join earlier. A little bit of a precision question. So these are all questions that are related to the section that we just did, with presenting what each portfolio did, correct?
Yeah, it's questions to the executive. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And then so there'll be other question periods where we get to touch on other parts of the the meeting, correct?
So if you have questions, do you mean on the motions that we passed earlier?
Sure.
Or because this is Q&A for the board, but if you have questions about the meeting, you could ask them and then we can determine whether or not they are, yeah, we can.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just, what I'll say is go ahead and ask your questions and then we will find out the best way to
Determine
answer
if it's
them.
the right time.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's no, I was just asking that so I would know when to ask my question, but don't worry about it. I'll think about how I'm gonna formulate it, and then if there's more time, great. If not, I've missed my opportunity. That's good. Thank you so much.
Okay, I think if you need some time to come back, you're welcome to ask your question now, because I will take any questions at this point. So I just want to check with you. Is it Safi?
Yes, it is Safi.
Okay. Do you want to ask your question?
No, because I haven't thought it through. Sorry.
No worries. Okay, I will come back to you. And I do have a couple other folks who have put an X in the chat. And I'm just going to ask folks to send it directly to me. I think the default that comes up is the UVSS message for tech support staff. So you may end up sending an X to those folks, but please, you can click my name and send me a message directly or send it to everyone and I'll add you to the list. So I do have Rowan. Apologies for the delay. I will now turn it over to you for your question. And Rowan, I just want to see if you want to come off mute. Oh, can't. Okay, I see. So you sent it to me in the chat, so I'll read it because the can't talk. Will there be a summer UMO program? I'm seeing nods. Yes, there will be a summer UMO. Sorry, Bunny, did you want to answer?
I was asking if you could repeat that question.
Oh, will there be a summer UMO program? And Cleo, I'll go to you.
Yeah, so UMO isn't actually through us. UMO is it's a software that BC Transit has procured to administrate like digital and like non-contact payment for transit. So it's going to be year round, and it's going to be it's something that we don't really bear any authority over, but UPass is a separate thing, and I'll let Cushy touch on that.
All right, and I have you up next. Go ahead, Kushi. Oh, and you're muted.
Thank you. Sorry, it wasn't letting me unmute. So if I'm understanding the question correctly, are you trying to ask if the UMO is going to be used as a platform for the UPass, or are you trying to look for alternatives, or is UPass mandatory for the summer? Could you please clarify?
Okay, and so I don't know if Rowan is having technical difficulties in terms of not being able to come off mute. So, and it sounds like the UMO coverage is something not related to the student society. So I'm going to go ahead and say if Rowan has further clarification to please let me know, but I'm going to move to the next question, and it's back to Safi.
Okay. First of all, I'd like to say I wasn't able to be very involved with all the student union life this year because I was not in Canada for a lot of it. But when I came back at the beginning of February, and honestly, again, didn't have a lot of time to ask or involve myself in any way that I could. But who for next year or for future years, who would it be best to contact to ensure that like there was more stuff around Black History Month next year, maybe? Just because, I don't really usually bring this up as a Black student because I feel like we do a really good job. Just this year, I just felt like there was a little bit of an imbalance between some of our events, although like Sexpo, thank you so much, Sarah, I'm sure it was a great event. It just felt a little bit like, I'm also queer, like we were talking about like the queer side of me, but then a part of me that's very visible in my day-to-day life wasn't really addressed. And like if UVic does a better job than us, then what are we doing as these super progressive students, right? That's kind of what I was thinking.
I
So
hear you
yeah.
asking who you need to reach out to get involved in an events, particularly around Black History Month. And I believe, okay, I see, I have a couple, Kushi and Cleo. Is that directly related to this, or should I go to Sarah?
I've got something that's directly related to this.
Okay, I'll do Cleo first, and then Sarah directly related to this, and then go to Kushi. Okay.
So few different things. Or this is a great reason why we'd like to see SOC's referendum question passed. Currently, they are the most underfunded advocacy group that the UVSS has, and it would be much easier for them to run substantial programming around Black History Month with an adequate fee. But separately, that's my portfolio and Shift Our Campus. So working with the next director of campaigns and community relations a little bit ahead of time is both two great avenues for us to improve how we celebrate Black History Month. And yeah, and we are also working on it. So yeah.
Yeah, that was my question. Thank you so much.
Perfect, thank you. And I will go to Sarah and then Kushi.
Yeah, I guess mostly just echoing Cleo, like we've been hearing that, and I think personally I do feel bad that Sexpo ended up kind of overshadowing it. That was like it kind of took up all my attention for a while, and we really couldn't or sorry, I didn't really have time to devote to ensuring that coverage of Black History Month was better. But in the future, I think this is something that I feel was a misstep this year, and I'd like to work with SOC and other groups on campus to ensure that it's just better, as well as that I think there's also been murmurs, and I can't promise anything because this isn't a conversation that's really come to a head yet, but there have been murmurs about potentially changing the date of Sexpo so that it doesn't end up overshadowing Black History Month again, and both can have like space to breathe on their own. That's not something that's been completely, or that's not something that's been figured out yet. But moving forward, that's another potential solution because I don't want to see this happen again. So thanks for bringing that up.
Perfect. And then I'll go to Kushi.
Thank you. So, to circle back on your original question, Safi, yes, we will be having UMO Bus Pass coverage for the summer as it has always been optional. You will have to opt in. I hope that answers your question. If you have, like, if you need help or need more details, you're welcome to email me.
And that was regarding UMO was from Rowan. So I think if Rowan is still here,
Oh,
please
sorry.
contact. No worries. Please contact Kushi. Thank you. Perfect. Any other questions, please send me an X in the chat. I have Lane and then Cecilia. So I'll go to Lane first.
I would actually like to let Cecilia go first.
Okay. Cecilia B.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear multiple, so I don't know if you're listening. You might want to mute the audio. Okay.
Hi, is this better? Okay.
So I'm gonna mute.
Sorry?
Nope, go ahead.
So I was one of the vendors at Sexpo and just kind of wanted to give my 2 cents at that. If we move the date, I think that would help a lot of vendors who have finals and like midterms about around that time. It was really stressful being a vendor and then having like 2 midterms that week and doing a 2-day vending. Yeah, so I would like to see it move personally because it was a great event and I love the market atmosphere that Sarah brought. Yeah.
All right. Not a question, but I will take the comment. And it looks like I did have Lane on the speakers list, and then I'll go to Sarah. Or I'm seeing Lane suggest Sarah goes first, and then we'll go to Lane. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for your input. I appreciate that other people are like thinking or think that's a good idea. It's something that will have to work out between Bo and I and with Jem. So I'm not actually sure if it's gonna be it, but I appreciate that you like the idea too. Thank you.
Perfect. We'll go to Lane.
Yeah, I just had a question. So as long as I've been doing UVSS general meetings, when we've come to the question period and we haven't filled it up, we've just called it early, like the chair has called it early. And I was wondering, because I think the way that it has been interpreted in the past is we have up to 30 minutes to answer questions rather than we have to spend 30 minutes answering questions, even if no one has any. And I was wondering if we could, what we think about that.
Yes. So that was my question to you folks. You are the decision-making body, the collective group of folks who are in this meeting, and I appreciate those who have remained to engage in this Q&A portion. So if it's decided that we would like to close the meeting now, I will just ask if there is any opposition or any further questions that hadn't been asked to closing the meeting early. So I'm going to ask if there is any other questions for the question period. Okay, and I'm going to seek a motion to close this portion of the agenda and move to the next item on the agenda. Is there a mover? You can use the raise hand function, moved by Cleo, seconded by Kushi. So that is moved and seconded. So I will open it for discussion for anyone who would like to speak to this. I will go to the mover, which was Cleo, if you would like to motivate.
Hey, we're 10 to 5. Let's get out of here. Let's have an evening.
All right. And I will ask if there's anyone who would like to speak to this motion to put an X in the chat. I'm not seeing anyone wanting to speak to this. So we are voting on ending this item, the Q&A portion of the agenda, and then we will move to adjournment where I'll request a motion to adjourn. So seeing no discussion on continuing the Q&A portion, I am going to ask if there is a poll for a vote. And the mover was Cleo Philp and the seconder was Kushi Wadwa. To close Q&A. And I will just see if we are able to have a vote on yes to close Q&A or no to continue.
I'm just waiting on our communication staff to put up. Oh, there
The
we go.
poll is up. So yes, we would like to close Q&A. No, we would like to continue. Please cast your vote. If you wish to abstain, you can simply not vote. So the motion has passed, 33 in favor of closing questions and answer, 1 opposed. So we will move to the item for adjournment. At this point, I will accept a motion to adjourn. Lane, is that a motion? Is there a seconder for a motion to adjourn? Kiera, perfect. So Lane O'Hara moved, Kiera seconded. Is there any discussion on adjournment? Okay, seeing no X's in the chat, I believe we have a poll for adjournment. Please vote yes to adjourn, no if you want to hang out in a meeting for the rest of the evening. Actually, we adjourn once all business is dispensed with, no matter what. So we've reached the end of the agenda and technically we adjourn anyway. So we're doing this more as a formality. People are already leaving. They don't want to see the results of the vote. It's a nail biter. And it's the results are in. The meeting has adjourned, 25 in favor, 2 opposed, and 1 abstained. Congratulations on your semi-annual general meeting and the business you conducted today. Thank you all for participating in your student society's democratic processes, and I wish you a lovely rest of your Wednesday evening.
Thank you very much, Carrie, for stepping up to chair at such short notice. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Carrie.
I'm
And thanks
happy
everyone
to.
for coming out.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Seriously, bye now.